Precisely 6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Sharifa Tahir. Headlines. The US government announces third tranche of new funding. PM pledges to take steps to manage food crisis. China to donate rice to Sri Lanka to help ease the food crisis. A special COPE meeting decides to take an oath at the commencement of the statements. The Education Minister says school holidays will be shortened in August and December. Sri Lanka national inflation soars to 45.3% in May 2022. In foreign news, vote workers detailed death threats in the capital riot hearing. In sports, Sri Lanka won an ODI series against Australia in the home soil after 30 years. Local news in detail now. The government of the United States has announced the third tranche of new funding today to address the immediate needs of people hardest hit by the economic crisis in Sri Lanka. The U.S. Embassy in Colombo said this humanitarian assistance totaling $5.75 million will provide cash assistance, short-term jobs, and agriculture supplies such as seeds directly to crisis-affected people to meet their basic needs. This new grant funding through the U.S. Agency for International Development builds on last week's announcement of $6 million in grants through USAID and USD $120 million in new loans through the Development Finance Corporation to meet the needs of Sri Lankans during the economic crisis. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said although the food crisis could directly affect 4 million to 5 million Sri Lankans in the future, steps will be taken to control it. He was speaking at a meeting of the Food Security Committee at the Prime Minister's office recently. The Prime Minister instructed the officials to pay more attention to the children and the elderly in particular. The Prime Minister further said that to provide leadership to develop and target 336 divisional secretariats in the island under the Food Security Programme, 225 divisions should be handed over to the members of parliament and the rest to the top officials, including the secretaries to the ministries and the private sector, to provide leadership. It was proposed to recruit graduates from the divisional secretariats for this purpose. The Prime Minister instructed the officials to give priority to providing fuel, gas and fuel to the fishing community. Special emphasis was placed on food security, especially for children's homes, nursing homes, and homes for persons with disabilities. He also stressed the need for a medium and long-term plan for a modern agricultural system that would create a regionally competitive market. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe held discussions with the Deputy Ambassador of China, Hu Wei, yesterday. During the discussions, the Prime Minister reiterated Sri Lanka's adherence to the One China policy. He also stated that Sri Lanka was looking forward to discussing the debt restructuring with China. The Chinese Deputy Ambassador inquired about Sri Lanka's food security programs and reassured the Prime Minister that China would be donating rice to Sri Lanka to help ease the food crisis. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation giving you the news. Continuing with more stories here at home, a special COPE meeting held yesterday decided to take an oath at the commencement of the statements made by the officials when summoned before the committee. Accordingly, officials who will be appearing before COPE in future will have to take an oath at the beginning of the committee meeting that their statements are accurate and truthful. The special meeting of the Committee on Public Enterprises was chaired by MP Professor Charita Herath. The chairman tabled the statement withdrawal letter dated 11/6/2022 pertaining to the statement made on 10/6/2022 at COPE by the former CEB chairman MMC Ferdinando. It was decided to summon Mr. Ferdinando before COPE on 23rd/6/2022 at 11 a.m. It was also decided to hold a special meeting on the 25th of July based on the expert reports on the progress of the Sri Lankan Airlines. Education Minister Susay Premajayantha says school holidays will be shortened in August and December and the number of school days to be increased to cover the syllabus missed by children during these additional school days. He said continuous training sessions would be conducted for primary school teachers from July, while providing another training session for advanced level teachers through the university system. A quiz review and additional programs will be conducted for students appearing for the exam, the minister said. The special educational sessions will be held in August, September and October, and arrangements are being made to conduct training sessions in July with the daily data and information obtained from the directors of education in all 9 provinces. That's local news for the moment.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Health Ministry says arrangements are being made to issue fuel to the vehicles of health sector employees every Friday at 74 filling stations island-wide. All healthcare staff members who are seeking this facility should be in possession of proof of identity such as the department identity card, which should be produced at the filling station if necessary.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And on Watchlight, the Department of Census and Statistics reported that Sri Lanka's nationwide inflation in May 2022, determined under the National Consumer Price Index, jumped to 45.3% from 33.8% recorded in April 2022 on a year-on-year basis. The NCPI for all items for the month of May 2022 increased to 208.7 from 190.3 in the previous month. With respect to May 2021, the reported inflation for the month of May 2022 was mainly due to the higher price levels prevailed in both food and non-food groups. Accordingly, the year-on-year inflation of the food group increased to 58% in May 2022 from 45.1% in April 2022, and the year-on-year inflation of the non-food group increased to 34.2% in May 2022 from 23.9% in the previous month. That's on Watchlight. Moving on to world news headlines. Vote workers detail death threats in the Capitol riot hearing. Russia warns Lithuania of consequences over rail transit blockade. Elon Musk's daughter cut ties with her father. World news in detail. Trump supporters threatened election officials and their families after they refused to quash his 2020 defeat, a congressional panel has heard. The Speaker of Arizona State House, Rusty Bowers, told the committee probing last year's Capitol riot that the harassment continues to this day. A Georgia voter counter said that she was afraid to leave home after ex-President Donald Trump specifically targeted her. The House of Representatives panel accuses Mr. Trump of an attempted coup. Russia has warned Lithuania of serious consequences after it banned the rail transfer of some goods to the Russian territory of Kaliningrad, and Russia will certainly respond to such hostile actions, senior security official Nikolai Patrushev said. Lithuania says it is only following the EU sanctions imposed over Russia's or Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. Kaliningrad, a strategic region where Russia's Baltic Fleet is headquartered, has no border with mainland Russia. The Western Territory was annexed from Germany after World War II in 1945 and is bordered by EU and NATO members Lithuania and Poland. The region, where an estimated 1 million people live, relies heavily on imports of raw materials and spare parts from Russia and the EU. Regional Governor Anton Alikhanov said that the ban would cover around 50% of the items that Kaliningrad imports. Finally, on world news, Elon Musk's transgender daughter has applied to legally change her name and gender, saying she no longer wants to be related to her biological father in any way, shape or form. The 18-year-old has asked to be recognized as female and have the name Vivian Jenna Wilson. She was known as Xavier Alexander Musk. The petition for both a name change and a new birth certificate was filed with the Los Angeles County Superior Court in Santa Monica. That's on world news. Moving on to development news. Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority entered an MOU with the Australian government-funded Skills for Inclusive Growth program managed by Palladium International Group towards several strategic areas of cooperation. The parties agreed on the cooperation framework to support key strategic initiatives, including revitalizing national tour guides operations to test destination development initiatives and engage visitors within rural and remote communities, initiatives to provide the performance of tourism business. That's development news.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Sri Lanka beat Australia by 4 runs at the 4th ODI played at R. Premadasa Stadium yesterday. Batting first, Sri Lanka scored 258 runs all out at the allotted 50 overs. Charith Asalanka scored 110 runs. In reply, Australia were only able to score 254 runs. David Warner scored 99 runs. Charith Asalanka judged as the man of the match. The 5th and final ODI will be held in our Premadasa Stadium on Friday. Sri Lanka already won the series by 3-1. Sri Lanka won an ODI series against Australia in the home soil after 30 years. That's on Sports News.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
SLT Mobitel has signed a landmark agreement with the National Water Supply and Drainage Board to provide a call centre solution for the benefit of all citizens. Under the agreement, SLT Mobitel will provide a comprehensive call centre solution with 1939 as the toll-free short code for citizens seeking NWSTB services. The technological solution enables automated customer self-service and agent-assisted voice call facilities.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
And on economic news, Sri Lanka's central bank's own treasuries holding has topped 2 trillion rupees, with 48 billion rupees in permanent money injected after the latest treasury bill auction, official data shows. The central bank's treasury bill and bond stock reached 2,045 billion rupees on June 17th from 1,997 billion rupees a day earlier. The central bank had additionally injected 746 billion rupees against treasury securities overnight into money markets, allowing banks to give loans without raising deposits and trigger balance of payments deficits and forex shortages.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
And on the weather update, showers will occur at times in Ratnapura, Kalutara, Gaul and Matara districts. Several spells of showers will occur in Northwestern Province and in Gampaha, Colombo, Kandy, Nuwara and Kagol districts. A few showers may occur in Jaffna district too. Showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in Uva Province and in Ampara and Batikla districts during the afternoon or night. And that's the weather update. And before we conclude the bulletin of news, headlines again. The US government announces their tranche of new funding. PM pledges to take steps to manage food crisis. China to donate rice to Sri Lanka to help ease the food crisis. A special COPE meeting decides to take an oath at the commencement of the statements. Education Minister says school holidays will be shortened in August and December. Sri Lanka national inflation soars to 45.3% in May 2022. In foreign news, water workers detailed death threats in the capital riot hearing. In sports, Sri Lanka won an ODI series against Australia in the home soil after 30 years. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news.